Hi, my friends. I'm so glad you're here. I want to tell you, I feel like you actually are my friends because here's the truth. I think about you all the time, all week. It's crazy. All week, as I'm going about my day, I'm thinking about my listeners, the people who listen to this podcast, who take the time to listen to me. And I'm thinking, how can I help you? What can I say? How can I give you some tools to help you in your life? So this week, I've been talking to a lot of my coaching clients about a specific subject, and it's about basically like when you feel judged and when you judge other people, and what we can do to get out of that like back and forth scenario, right? So think in your life when pretend like you're doing something, right? You're participating in a sport, you're dancing, you're up in front of the class, and you feel like everyone's looking at you, they're judging you, right? And what if they actually say something really rude and negative, right? Or you hear someone's talking about you, and someone says, "Hey, I heard this about you." The natural reaction is, of course, to be upset, to feel sad, to feel judged, right? Like even in our life, like we go around looking and we watch people. Here's the thing about humans, they're really good at reading other humans. So it's like if I walk into a room and I just sense people looking me up and down or looking at me and then looking away and whispering, right? I make up this whole story in my head, right? People are judging me. People are thinking negatively about me, right? And here's the thing, what I'm going to say. Lots of times people will be like, no, they're not. They're not thinking about you. But here's the truth. Sometimes they are, right? Sometimes they are judging you, right? And so what do we want to do with that? I believe the reason it's a problem for us is the biggest reason it's a problem for you and me is because we judge ourselves. We live inside our mind with like a mean girl or a mean guy in our head talking to us all the time. And so we're hearing all these negative thoughts all day long. And then that's what we're looking for. We're looking to see if, like, wait, is it true? Am I not good enough? Am I not loved? Am I weird? Am I dumb? Like, right? Whatever that thought is in your mind that you're this mean person in your head is saying to you all day long, we look for confirmation of it. Like, is that true? And what do we always say? What you look for, you will find, right? So if I believe deep down, like it's a secret, but I actually believe like I'm really not that smart, then that's what I'm going to be looking for. Is that true? And what happens? Whatever I look for, I'm going to find, right? I will find, hey, guess what? I got a bad grade on this. These people laughed at my answer. I was the only one that didn't know this, right? Whatever I look for, I'm going to find. So this mean voice in our head, we go around looking for how it's true. And here's what I want to say. It actually is true that sometimes people are thinking about you. I think we would be surprised how often they're not. We kind of think we're right, the main character in everyone's story, but I have news for you. You're only the main character in your own. And people aren't thinking about you as much as you think. But it is true that sometimes, especially at school, especially in social settings, teenagers in general are trying to feel good about themselves. So one way they do that is to judge other people or to make fun of people. So while it's true that they're not always thinking about you, sometimes it happens. So what do we want to do then? In my opinion, the reason it matters to you is because part of you believes it. So if I told you right now, I hate your blue hair, I hate it. How do you feel? You're probably looking at me weird right now, like, what are you talking about? You don't even see my hair. And I'm pretty sure I don't have blue hair. So like when I say if I hate your blue hair, does it hurt your feelings? Are you sad? You're like, no. Like if someone in your life came up to you and said that to you, you'd be uh, like I think you might have, a problem with seeing color or you're colorblind because I don't have blue hair. Like it wouldn't actually hurt your feelings, right? Because no part of you believes you have blue hair, right? So when people say something to you, like maybe you're not a good dancer, maybe you're not one of us, you're not as cool as us, whatever they say to you, when you part of you believes it, that's why it hurts, right? Because if they just told you you had blue hair, you'd be like, that's crazy, I don't, right? So the first part is to actually get your own back and decide, listen, if people think I'm not as good as them, I don't agree with that, right? That's like they told me I have blue hair. I'm like, that's not even true. So I don't know what to tell you, but I'm gonna go over here and hang out with people that I do like. Okay. But what if what they say is kind of true? This is actually what I love to do, you guys. If something comes up and someone says something that kind of hurts, that kind of stings, that feeling where you're like, wait, that actually doesn't feel good. Part of me, I just say to myself, yeah, what part of this is true, Jody? What part is true? And I just take a look at it. Like, Like, say, I don't know, someone said you're being selfish, okay? My first defense is like, no, I'm not. I'm not selfish. Do you know what I do? Do you know what I do for other people? You know, all these things. But then if I t actually take a look at it, it's like, am I selfish sometimes? Probably. There's probably like a part of this is true, and I can just own it. And when I own whatever part of it is true, that doesn't mean I'm a terrible person, right? It just means like, hey, guess what? I'm a human who has a lot of good things and some weaknesses, right? And when I just take a look at it and say, yeah, maybe in that circumstance I was a little selfish. Yeah, that wasn't my best. It's like all the like defensive feeling that you feel, that hurt, that sadness that I have to prove myself that I'm not bad, it just kind of calms down. Because the truth is like, yeah, you might have been selfish and you're not bad. You're not the bad guy. You're not a terrible person. And you can just own all of it. So what part is true? Like if someone says something rude about you, you can either decide none of that's true, that's crazy, right? And it's like they told me I have blue hair and I can just let it go. But if it part of you is a little bit hurt and you're like, that could be true, you can just be like, yeah, that could be true. Part of maybe that is true. And what else? What else is true? And you're awesome and you're amazing and you're loved no matter what, right? So here's my goal for you guys, okay? Well, I can't make goals for you, but here's my my challenge for you to have a goal, okay? First of all, I want to ask you a question. What if I told you I was going to lock you in a room with the meanest person that you know, like a bully at school, like the meanest kid at school that makes fun of everyone that you don't want to be around, right? But it's just going to be you and that bully all day long, every day for a year. How would you feel? Like actually answer in your mind. I would be dreading it. I would feel super worried. I would be feeling like this is going to be terrible, right? How do you think you'd feel coming out of that year, like locked inside a room with that bully for a year? How would you feel? Probably worse about yourself. You probably feel, I don't know. If someone's telling you you're not good enough all the time, or you're not smart, or you're not cool, right? You're going to feel worse about yourself, right? Okay, perfect. What if I told you I was going to take like the nicest person that you know? Maybe like your super fun aunt or grandma or your best friend who just builds you up, that you feel really calm and confident and happy with, right? What if I told you you guys are going to be locked in a room for a year together? How would you feel? Probably like, yeah, this is gonna be awesome, right? Like, I'm gonna hang out with someone who's building me up, who has my back, who tells me, and just because they love you, they might tell you like, hey, you might want to work on this, but they do it from a loving place, right? They're gonna be building you up and helping you, right? And so when you leave that year with that person that's building you up, how are you gonna feel about yourself? Awesome. And you might have like some energy and drive to actually go accomplish more goals or go do new things because you feel loved and supported, right? So here's the truth. Every single one of us is locked inside our head 24 hours a day with a voice in our head. And you get to choose if it's a bully or if it's someone awesome and nice. You just get to choose. We think someone else outside of us has to tell us that we're good enough for us to believe it. But here's the truth. You can just decide. And you decide to best friend yourself. You decide, guess what? The person that's going to be in my head is going to be my best friend. And guess what's going to happen? You're going to have those negative thoughts come back in. And it's going to be like you're typing a paper and you're like, "Oh, you're not as pretty as her." And you're like, "Oh, backspace." We're not saying that anymore. We're not saying that anymore. We're going to be like, "Hey, guess what? You're awesome. Go have fun. You have so much to contribute. I love you no matter what. You're not perfect. You're not supposed to be. Let's go." Right? Like you're going to have to catch your thought when it comes. It's a negative. You're just like, "Oh yeah, I remember when I used to do that, but now I don't. Now I'm like writing paper, backspace. Now I decide what to think. I'm going to best friend myself." Whatever you would tell your best friend, say your best friend messed up. Say your best friend, I don't know, made a big mistake or hurt someone's feelings or whatever they did. What would you tell that best friend? What would you tell them? Would you be like, "Yeah, you're terrible. You're a loser. No one likes you"? Would you ever say that to them? No, but you say it to yourself, right? So you decide when you're trying to figure out what to tell yourself, you say, what would I tell my best friend? What would I tell someone that I really love if this happened? And that's what you tell you. It's actually your job to get your own back. It's your job to show up for yourself and be your own best friend. And the truth is, once you do that, Once you fill your own cup and you feel loved and amazing, then you can go spread that love to other people. Then you can actually show up like the friend that you want to be. So you get to decide who you're going to be hanging out in your head 24 hours a day with. You could just choose. And it's going to take some practice. It's going to take some practice if you're used to just saying everything negative. You're going to have to decide, I actually don't do that anymore. I could just decide I'm hanging out with some cool people in my mind. And I'm going to tell myself what I want to hear, which is guess what? I don't get my worth from the people liking me or having the coolest clothes or being the best on the team. God gave me my worth. God loves me exactly how I am. And I love me. Now, what can I go do to help other people? What do I want to do that's fun, right? From that energy, you can do anything that you want. So try it this week. Best friend yourself. Choose who you want to hang out with 24 hours a day in your mind. And just decide, guess what? Backspace, I don't talk like that anymore. We don't do that anymore. We choose on purpose what we want to think. You're amazing. You're loved. I'm so proud of you. Have a good week.